All right, forgot my mic. Good evening, Road Rangers.
Good evening, everybody. I hope everyone had a wonderful day, and we're ready to rock and roll, aren't we, Road Ranger, tonight?
I'm pointing, and I'm pointing, and I'm pointing.
Well,
and I'm
just like the buddy is pointing too, and Revolution Nana is in the background causing trouble, I see.
She's just sassy this evening. Look at her go.
As usual.
All right.
Oh
well,
my goodness.
You know what?
Gracious.
We were talking about definitely coming on tonight, and we knew that there was a lot of content. Aaron, we're bringing.
Hey, we're going to do our best, Aaron. We're going to bring that.
Pointing.
Yeah. It's one of those shows where I have to have a tequila and orange juice.
I am drinking water because I have been good today. So
well, good for you.
Yes. So do you, Honey Badger, would you like to start off? You said you have a good story.
Well, yeah, but before we get started, I just hope everyone's okay out there in the crazy world. We have a lot to review.
Yeah.
A lot to talk about.
We haven't even compared articles. Usually Badger and I compare articles, and we're just going to go with it because I think this is going to be a combination because the list is long.
Yeah. So today is May 12th, 2021. And the first thing I would like to share my screen. I don't know if you have seen the new sculpture on Rockefeller Center.
No.
You haven't seen this? Oh gosh, it's wonderful. There is sound, but you don't need to see the sound. Yeah. So they're unveiling it. Oh my God! It's President Trump.
Yeah. And we're pointing.
Yeah.
All right. That's awesome. I was going to say the buildings were moving. So,
you know what? That's the first thing that I wanted to talk about because that was the most important thing in my view.
Yes. Well, that's always good to start off with some good energy.
Right. So,
and now we're going to go down the turd hole.
Pretty much. Why don't I just, since I'm sharing my screen, let me go to this right screen and we just can dig in. How about that?
Let's dig.
If I can share the right screen, I would be in really good.
Okay, we can see that. Yes.
Okay. So should we jump off and talk about the election updates first?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
For AZ audit. AZ audit.
Okay. Yes, AZ audit. So I have been listening a lot what's going on in Arizona, and it's definitely a waiting game right now. The Republican Party and the Katie Hobbs, the Secretary of State, are basically going back and forth, blaming each other. And where it stands now is Katie Hobbs is saying, because there's two issues. One's the passwords that they're disputing over, and one's the routers. Okay. So the passwords, they still haven't giddied up. They haven't, their last response is, we don't have what you're requesting. We have given everything over that we have. Okay. So that's where the password issue stands. But the router issue, because they want the routers.
Correct.
And the router issue is all of a sudden, so security was one excuse and they're off of that excuse. Now it's going to be too expensive to share the routers, up to $6 million. They're saying that it's going to cost to give. Yeah, well, this does not make any sense.
I mean, I understand it's probably not a regular router like in a home. I mean, they might be large, but I mean,
no, $6 million. Come on. I mean, that's just a bunch of hooey. Road Ranger. It's a hooey.
It's hoo-hoo.
So they are they're they're just waiting to see how this plays out. But the last update that I saw, that the Senate, the Arizona Senate, they're hours away from sending subpoenas out to the Maricopa County Boards of Supervisors and the Maricopa Sheriff. If they do not get this information, they're going to subpoena all of the Board of Supervisors and the Sheriff.
Well, you know, I think that there are people pooping their pants tonight.
Oh, yeah, baby.
I think that there's a lot of pooping in the pants going on.
I would say more than the normal poopy. Yeah. I mean
there's pooping in the pants, and then there's like really pooping in the pants.
It's like they're pooping and throwing up, I think.
I didn't think about that. So they're pooping and throwing up at the same time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's a double duty.
Oh yeah. They're in bad shape. So it sounds like their back is definitely against the wall. And so, it's 5:40 or 5:54 Central Time. Maybe there's an update that I don't know about. This is as of 2 hours ago. Okay. So that was the Arizona update.
But do you have it? They're still counting. They just don't have the actual devices. Okay.
Yep. Correct.
Okay.
So let's move on to Michigan.
Yes, please.
So that's what I'm sharing. I'm sharing my screen that talks about some highlights of what's going on. There's a lot of shenanigans going on in Michigan. And it all stems from the root of it is Atrium County.
Okay.
And they have in their court documents, they have released detailed information about the night of the election on November 3rd, that somebody left their computer on with an open VPN port. This is what's in their network. And this is where there was a hearing in front of a judge this past Monday. The judge is going to make a decision on Tuesday, the 18th. So this coming Tuesday, we'll have more information. But in a 46-minute interview, the full-blown investigation was documented, and it basically talks about MySQL, which is a computer program, was installed into tabulation machines illegally. This demonstrates intent to manipulate the database, as there is literally no other reason to do this ahead of Election Day.
Yeah, that's coding. I mean, that's developer coding language.
Tabulation, it's tabulation.
So they what they did was they edited the software that was supposed to be running from Dominion, and somebody went in with SQL and changed up for whatever reason. Okay, go ahead.
Correct. The Michigan system is designed on an antiquated intranet that allows the machines to communicate with one another, as well as the Secretary of State's office, which the Secretary of State in Michigan is a bad, they're definitely a black hat, part of the deep state. This leaves numerous vulnerabilities for internal manipulation through the MySQL database software, but also enables an outside bad actor to commit massive voter fraud remotely without being detected easily. More on that below. In addition, a laptop was left connected to the system that had internet access. Anyone with internet access anywhere in the world and an understanding of MySQL and a desire to manipulate the count votes would have been able to do so. It's important to note here that there is no legitimate reason to connect an internet-connected laptop to the voting system on Election Day.
Sounds like somebody set that laptop up, connected it, and it could have been someone in Italy.
Yeah, well, exactly.
It could be anywhere.
Yeah, well, there's lots of evidence with Lynn the My Pillow guy on his
Mhm.
document. They have it all. I mean, this is all documented, and this is getting more and more mainstream media. I mean, I know Fox is definitely reporting this to some extent. I've seen. So one more segment on the Michigan. The challenge with all of this is that there would be logs, so computer logs. Whoever connected the laptop to the system would have their user profile logged as the originator. Moreover, logs would show the changes made to the database. Therefore, it'd be easy to catch the culprits if indeed there was some. But there's a problem with that. As we covered in December, with pertinent information highlighted, forensic audit finds that security log files were deleted from all Dominion machines to hide vote switching.
Which was done by the company.
Yep.
Dominion.
Yep.
They're in cahoots.
Yeah.
That's just, I mean, hello. This is going back to all the cell phones of HRC being smashed with hammers and nothing happening. I mean, this is blatant. To me, this is just as blatant.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Wow, yeah. But Dominion, they're on the up and up.
Oh, of course. And so this is Michigan. So as you know, Georgia is getting ready to do an audit. And it's funny, if you go to Lynn Wood's Telegram, he said the last couple days and he was being very sarcastic. He's like, oh yeah, they're conducting an audit in the state of Georgia, but they are starting with him personally. They're trying to get him, they're trying to sue him, either going to sue or has sued him for voter fraud.
Yeah, and I think they were trying to disbar him
in
Georgia as well. So is the audit that's happening in Georgia, is this a forensic audit or is this just a recount?
I don't think it's gotten to that far that I know of. I don't think it's gone to that extent.
And Michigan right now is really just a court ruling to see if they are going to ask for an audit. Is that
correct?
Okay, good.
Correct. So they're a little behind. Well, they're a lot behind Arizona, but New Hampshire is right there too. They're in the court system trying to do the same thing Arizona's doing. Yep.
Well, I'll tell you what, once Arizona cracks, I think things are going to speed up in other areas. And cyber ninjas, I think, are going to be ninja karate chopping all over the country.
Oh, yeah. And really, actually, it's not only in the United States, it's the world. I don't know if you caught, but Venezuela had I don't know when their audit was. I haven't confirmed. I don't have that.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing. Yeah.
But they use Smartmatic and Dominion, and they just came out just recently saying that they're doing an audit because they think that 1 million votes were manipulated
in Venezuela, which is crazy.
And then Chad Africa too. Chad Africa is doing an audit, or they're about to do an audit.
Really?
Oh yeah, this is worldwide because these machines were used worldwide. It's all part of the cabal. It's the same formula, and it's all being broken open all over the world.
I mean, and Aaron has a point here. He says before Melinda gets here, because we know Melinda Gates and Bill. He heard Bill Gates told Lindell how vote was altered after buyer's remorse. David Wilcock referenced 2 days ago. We'll have to look into that. That's very interesting. This was something that I was going to talk about. Just mention, but it's kind of tied to all of these things. I mean, there are a lot of things that are coming undone. Okay. Now, again, after, what are the odds? Bill and Melinda Gates getting divorced after 27 years. The Hollywood Foreign Press is being attacked by a lot of celebrities that are returning Golden Globes because, hey, Melinda, because of the Hollywood Foreign Press not taking a big enough stand against inclusion, plus all of the sexual harassment and violations that have happened. But also, I don't know if you guys heard, but Ellen's shutting her show down. And I mean, yeah, she had some bad press last year, but it's just, is it just me, or a lot of things?
It's collapsing. Hollywood's collapsing.
These are all the names of people that we believe are involved with the cabal and a lot of the evil Luciferian practices. And I know I'm going out on some weird conspiracy theory crap, but
no, it's not conspiracy. It's correct.
This is all happening, you know, again, no shock and awe, but things are happening, and you can't tell me that there isn't some connection.
Oh gosh, yeah, it's all collapsing.
I mean, and I mean, there's a list I'm going to go through tonight. But you know, with the money and yes, Melinda, babe, a lot is going on right now. Absolutely.
Yeah, and Melinda Gates is here, and I just wanted to tell you how sorry I am for. I know you're in the midst of divorcing Bill Gates, your husband.
Hopefully, you get a lot of that vaccine.
Well, yeah,
money.
And I like and Melinda, I really like your home. That has been all over the news in the Pacific Northwest. It's supposed to be $1 trillion or multi-million dollar state. I would like to do a girls trip there, Melinda.
I'm wondering Melinda, what you're going to do with all the farmland, because I'm a little concerned about some food supply.
Oh,
and yeah. A girl needs some taters. Okay, I need some taters. Love you, babe.
Yeah.
Babe.
Yeah, really. Oh God, don't even go there.
Okay.
Well, can we talk about Bill Gates real quick?
Yes.
There's a lot of speculation. You know, as everyone knows, they're getting a divorce, and there are a lot of speculation that Melinda is actually divorcing Bill because she knows that he's screwed. That he is.
Well, of course, that's when I would get out.
Oh yeah, she's like, I'm done. I'm out of here.
Complicit. Sorry,
of course. Yeah, not this Melinda Gates.
No,
but, you would never do that.
There's a joke about Tinder, and Tinder's already warning its users to not make up fake Bill Gates user accounts, and that they will be bumped from Tinder.
And how do you know this, Road Ranger?
I get a lot of news. I see a lot of news while I'm watching my dating shows.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's true. All right, continue.
So that's all I had to share on Bill Gates. I mean, he's screwed. His days are numbered. He's totally all involved with Epstein, and Epstein's girlfriend is going to be they've set a trial date. I think October of November. I can't remember, but it's in the fall. So that is going to be very interesting.
You know, there are pictures of Ellen on Epstein Island holding children.
Oh yeah.
Again, it's thick.
Oh yeah.
So the poopy doo-doo is thick.
Oh, they're shaking in their pants big time. They have to, because when she sung like a canary.
Of course she did. She's saving her life. Yeah.
And when her trial starts, all of these details are going to go public, and Mel K has called it, just wait for the Epstein boomerang, because it's all connected. It's all connected, and it's all going to come back, and all of this is going to be all the Secretary of State and all the politicians and all the Hollywood actors and world leaders and the Vatican. It's all the same sewer. It's all the same sewer. So that's what I have to say about that.
Aaron just made an interesting comment. Would you like to read that?
Microsoft implicated via Michigan appeal for audit 2 to 3 days ago. I saw it happen on YouTube.
Juicy.
Oh yeah. So because they funded all of these cabal players in these elections, Facebook too. Yeah. And Microsoft. Yeah. So it's all connected, guys. All right. So what do you want? I don't mean to hog the stage,
No,
Road
if
Ranger.
you have any more,
Oh yeah, I have lots of good
keep
stuff.
going.
Oh,
Keep
right.
going. I'll chime in. I'm not shy. Hee-haw.
Another election bombshell, that Michigan County GOP chair and lawyer Hander Kazam, if I'm pronouncing that correct, withdraws from the Atrium County voter fraud case after fighting yesterday to stop it. But then 5 months ago, he was saying he wanted to ban the Dominion voting systems and hardware. So he resigned from the case or withdraws. And so this is going to be juicy. These players are,
Does it
like
say
I
why
said,
he withdrew?
let's see what official reason. Let's see. I'm trying to find it, guys. Let's see. I don't see a specific
It doesn't include
reason.
it. Okay.
Well, you know what? I have not read the withdrawal of appearance, but it's here. He just said he wants to withdraw.
Okay.
I don't see a specific reason. So that's another juicy gossip off of Michigan. And then our president, Mr. T, I don't know if you've been up to date on his blog here on donaldjtrump.com, but he just today, he has, oh my gosh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
On fire.
Yeah, he's really being more and more vocal. So he slams the Liz Cheney, as everyone knows or should know. She got booted out. She's out of here. And Liz Cheney is the daughter of Dick Cheney, which Dick is totally he's totally
Yes.
a criminal.
He's in it deep with Halliburton and everything.
Oh my gosh, he was a main
he was
character.
part of the 9/11.
9/11. Oh yeah, he's a bad dude. Bad dude. So that's why Liz, and you know, I'm really proud of the Republicans in the House of Representatives for doing this, because this again is a really good sign, in my opinion.
So I was going to report on her. If you don't mind, I can
go ahead.
a couple comments. Yeah. So before they had the vote, they gave her the floor, and she basically was, kind of begging on her knees, don't cut me out. I want to bring unity to the party. I want to make a strong party. My loyalty is with the party. And then, of course, they voted her off the committee, and immediately she's quoted as saying, and I'm not going to quote the words, but she's reported as saying that she is going to do everything she can to prevent Mr. T from reaching the Oval Office ever again. So it was all lip service ahead of time. And, her little speech of bringing unity was bull.
Oh my God. Oh no. She's a total traitor. According to Trump, she's a bitter, horrible human being.
Well, the thing is you have to listen to what he says, because he's truthful. He'll compliment people when they deserve it, and then he calls them out when, in his opinion, he doesn't. And Aaron's, I'm going to interject really quick. He's his comment is, did it occur to anyone that maybe Bill Gates bought up 270,000 acres for farmers' bankruptcy protections? But I want to mention that there are farmers in several states in the Midwest right now that are suing the federal government because there is a COVID relief act for farmers, but not white farmers, only people of color, and that's discrimination. So
totally. That's a mess. That's a mess. Oh no. Yeah. And the food, yeah, it's going to get ugly, guys. I think it really
Critical
is.
race. I mean, it's what they're doing is reversing all the evils that white people did to people of color that were evil and horrible and disgusting, and they're reversing it. And instead of trying to find peace and unity, they're turning the racism back on white people. And two wrongs do not make a right. And this is just and I mean, we need to atone for the horrible, heinous things that happened, but I don't believe by, abolishing white people is going to be the answer. I don't think
No,
that
it's
this is
not.
the answer. It's just
No,
it's more division.
it's
This
just
is
part of the race war
the
agenda.
narrative. Yes. All right. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's all right. No.
Like I mentioned, we're going to be jumping back and forth tonight. So
No, so back to Liz Cheney.
yes.
He also forwarded Sean Hannity's tweet.
Mm.
I hope you're enjoying being embraced and praised by Dems and media mob, the same people that called your dad a war criminal, convicted Scooter Libby, and tried to destroy your father's over his work with Halliburton, counting the days until your new friends return to normal. So, yeah, bad mamma jamma.
That hit it on the head, huh?
Well, he is a war criminal. That's true.
Correct. But they're all in it together. So they're all war criminals, all of them.
Oh, yes. A lot of them are. A lot of them. I agree. And then going back, Mr. Trump has been very busy today. He says, I see that everyone is comparing Joe Biden to Jimmy Carter. It would seem to me that it's very unfair to Jimmy Carter. Jimmy mishandled crisis after crisis, but Mr. B has created crisis after crisis. First, there was the Mr. B border crisis that he refuses to call a crisis, but I think he's changed that now. Then the Mr. B economic crisis, then the Mr. B Israel crisis, and now the Mr. B gas crisis. Mr. B has had the worst start of any president in the United States history, and someday they will compare future disasters to the Mr. B administration, but no, Jimmy was better. Well, it's true.
I completely agree. Jimmy is still in his old age building Habitat for Humanity homes, and he's probably a better humanitarian. This is just hit it on the head.
Yep.
And that's not even, I don't even think that's a complete list. That doesn't even go into this infrastructure mess.
Yeah.
It just goes on and on. I have a complete list. I'll cover.
Okay. Well, let's talk about it.
Okay. So I'm not going to share my screen because it is going to freeze. But basically, yes, someone on Breitbart, John Nolte, wrote a story and it's published today, and the link's in the description, that we are basically saddled with Jimmy Carter 2.0. And the list is energy prices are exploding. And I'm talking about propane, gas. We're going to have gas line shortages on the East Coast because of the pipeline software that got hijacked, cyber attacked. How does that ever happen? And if you recall, we had, the Armageddon storm where we had power grids go down. And I mean, okay, that's where people were getting literally $10,000, $12,000 bills. They're still seeing a lot of that. Gas shortages, I mentioned, are on the East Coast, and they're already starting. There are some pictures of people fighting.
Yes.
Okay.
They're physically fighting over gas.
Physically fighting. And imagine what would happen if there's a food shortage, because, okay, so the gas is the tip of the iceberg, folks.
Oh,
okay?
yeah.
If you can't get trucks on the highway with goods and services and food and products, it's on the East Coast right now, but there's going to be a ripple effect across the country. And I mean, I recommend, if you have containers, I'm not saying, woo, the sky is falling, but fill up your gas tanks.
I would fill up your gas tank and food.
because this is,
Absolutely.
excuse me, we'll see how this goes. So we've got a huge domestic policy. We've got Russians. In this article, it says Russians walked all over Jimmy Carter, most notably with the invasion of Afghanistan. But if we look at right now, what's happening is, I mean, there was total peace. There was a love fest in Israel. We're putting an embassy in. All the countries were doing good. Mr. T met with North Korea. And now we've got Putin threatening Ukraine in ways unseen since Obama was president.
Yep.
And then Middle East has exploded with just the different bombs going into Israel, Middle East war breaking out all over. Now we've got a vaccine hesitancy. I'm not exactly sure what he's doing, but then I think that they're saying get the vaccine, but they're still putting pre-vaccine anti-freedoms against people, saying, you have to wear masks, you still have to social distance, you can't have okay, so we have inflation. They're still printing money that it's not backed by anything, and the Fed is not a government agencies. We have a job crisis right now because they're mandating $15 an hour for businesses, and resting bitch face says, oh, well, prices won't increase. They won't. And of course, what do we have? We've got increased lumber. We've got increased anywhere you go into grocery stores. It's slowly going to get there. Fast food, food at the grocery store. We have a crime wave right now. They're anti-police right now. We've got shootings happening. Or I'm sorry, I know I should call it, what do we call those? Play dates happening every week. The economy, the GDP growth is at risk. The border, I know, I'm sorry, I'm still going. Okay.
I know, okay, but I should have gotten a bottle of tequila. Exactly. I didn't realize that this list was going to be so long.
Yeah, well, okay. This is border, and the last one is the border crisis that he created himself. And we have, and it's not just a border crisis, it's a humanitarian crisis, it's a human trafficking crisis. You've got kids that are creating COVID in COVID, and going into communities. I mean, that's the last of the list, but what do you think, folks?
OMG. Well, they did say they said that things are going to get a lot worse before it gets better, because everyone needs to wake up and realize what's going on, that it's this cabal needs to die and be buried forever.
I mean, and it's ridiculous. It's like, okay, if they wanted, okay, so part of what we had heard through this whole election process is you can't tell them, you have to show them. So is this them just throwing up and barfing everything onto a tray and saying, oh, here, look?
Yep. I think so. That's my personal opinion. Yeah, I think.
And the left is claiming that he's got a 63, 68% approval rating right now. There's no way. There's no way. God. How in the hell do they figure he has an approval rating? No. Are they're just typing numbers on a PowerPoint slide?
Well, they know the media they're liars.
They're like
psycho liars.
That many people didn't even vote for him.
Oh my God, no.
His approval rating are from all the dead people that voted for him.
Oh, I know. No, it's, and you know what? I hate to say this, but I think this is just the beginning. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But you guys, seriously, we've been stocking up. We have a little bunker in the basement, we call it. And, we have the essentials, nothing fancy, but
yeah, bland, but you'll live.
We have enough flour and sugar and yeast to make bread for a long time.
Well, we bought a test freezer actually, because just for meat and things like that, because I can do anything with pasta and meat all day long. I want to say hi to Lisa.
Lisa's in the house. Woo!
Hi, Lisa. You came at the right time because
Oh man,
we're all gonna die.
I hope that you have a cocktail, Lisa.
We're all gonna suffer and be hungry in our tummies.
No, we're not, because we're gonna prepare, and we're
I've
not.
got some Chef Boyardee in the microwavable little cups.
Well,
Me ravioli.
Well,
Oh,
it's just scary of what's happening to this pipeline, because, hackers supposedly hacked it, but there's a $5 million ransom, and they're saying, and I don't know who the people who did this. I can only imagine who did it, but evidently it's the dark side Russian hackers, which I doubt these are Russian hackers. They're the cabal hackers.
it's probably someone owned by Facebook. That's
Yes,
some woke
seriously.
guy in a Starbucks
Yes.
somewhere, and he's laughing.
So Colonial Pipeline will not pay the $5 million ransom, and it is mostly right now in the East Coast, but like in North Carolina, gas stations are dry, and Charlotte residents are told to limit travel.
Well, that's what's going to happen. I was just thinking, if there's no gas, it's like, okay, what are we going to have to do? I drive quite a bit of distance to take the youngster to school. That he ain't going to school.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, what else is this going to affect? I mean, you got to get your food, get your vittles.
Yeah, and
just in time for summer.
The governor of Florida has been on a rampage
too,
about this gas shortage. I'm trying to find the article. There's so many articles here.
While you look for that, I'll just mention a couple things, because I mentioned in Texas,
go ahead.
People had power bills, $10,000, $12,000, and they're still coming down, but they're still high. We have a friend who fills up one of those propane tanks out in his yard on his acreage, and it usually costs $300 to fill up his propane, and I think it was almost $2,000, and this was a few months ago. So this is already a mess. I mean, lumber's 4 times. I don't know what happened with lumber. I don't know if this is coming off of COVID, but it's just this whole gas pipeline thing. There will be ripple effects. It's going to be bad.
Yeah. Well, what's next? That's what I want to know. I mean, because it's been widely speculated and talked about that China is in control of our power grid. It's just
correct.
It's really scary. It's really scary. I'm sorry to be Debbie Downers today, you guys.
Well, the only thing that can fix this is a saxophone solo.
Oh God, I wish. So,
did you find your article?
I didn't. I couldn't find it. But
do you want me to go on?
Yeah, go on. Go for it.
All right.
Yes.
So let me find my thingy. All right. So I'm not sure who's aware of this, but it came out today that 120 plus retired military flag officers and generals sent an open letter, or wrote an open letter. I'm not sure who they sent it to, but it's under Flag Officers for America, and I have the PDF link in the description. And basically, these are America's military soldiers, men and women, who sign their names and have an open letter talking about, starting out with, talking about how they started is, our nation is in deep peril. We are in a fight for our survival as a constitutional republic like no other time since our founding in 1776. The conflict is between supporters of socialism and Marxism versus supporters of constitutional freedom and liberty. During the 2020 election, an open letter from senior military leaders was signed by 317 retired generals and admirals. It said, the 2020 election could be the most important election since our country was founded. With the Democrat Party welcoming socialists and Marxists, our historic way of life is at stake. Unfortunately, that statement's truth was quickly revealed, beginning with the election process itself. I'm not going to read this whole letter, but basically it just extols a lot of the things that I just listed off that are becoming apparent now. And the list is growing and growing and growing. And what these brave men and women that sign their name publicly have done is that they're urging all citizens to get involved now at the local, state, and national level to elect political representatives who will act to save America, our constitutional republic, and hold those currently in office accountable. The will of the people must be heard and followed.
That's really powerful.
Yes. And I believe that there's going to be more of that. And these are people that have contacts. And these are people that probably know a whole heck of a lot more than we do about what's really happening. And, I just have to say, again, goes back to Arizona. Thank God for Maricopa County going through this process.
Yeah, it's definitely a big stepping stone for sure. Oh boy. Yeah, I saw that. And and then they also said, didn't they talk about his Mr. B's mental and physical condition cannot be ignored, or was that another?
No, that was a bullet point.
Okay.
About his, yeah, absolutely. So let me just read the bullet points that they mentioned. Open borders. China is the greatest external threat. The free flow of information is critical to our security of the republic, as illustrated by freedom of speech in the press. Re-engaging in the flawed Iran nuclear deal, which we had pulled out of. Stopping the Keystone Pipeline eliminates our recently established energy independence, which we had gotten under Mr. T. Using the U.S. military as political pawns with thousands of troops deployed around the U.S. Capitol building, patrolling fences against a non-existent hug. The rule of law is fundamental, and the anarchy is seen in certain cities. Mental and physical condition of the commander-in-chief cannot be ignored. And those are just national security issues that they mentioned.
Well,
but we've got camel toe in the wings. So,
oh my God, yeah, she hasn't done a damn thing.
Nothing.
Nothing. For how many weeks has it been since she's been in charge of the border? She's done nothing besides give everyone a copy of her children's book.
And look really bad in a pantsuit.
For sure. Yeah. Well, Fox, yeah, really put some humor in there. We need it. Well, Fox News is saying that the presidency, quote unquote, and they put it in parentheses, appears to be collapsing in front of everybody's eyes.
Fox has that?
Yep.
Yeah, I wonder if they're not. I mean, again, I this weekend I'm gonna pay attention to CNN and MSN and those, because I want to see what they're saying, because I just have to wonder if this isn't all a preamble to what we've been thinking could happen, maybe happening. But again, the country would be in revolt.
Yeah, well,
it's not going to be pretty. I mean, it's in revolt now, I guess.
It is, and I think the media is definitely turning for sure, because we used to watch Tucker Carlson every night. Well, we stopped. We were just like, I'm done with it.
Yeah.
Well, evidently we've missed a lot of good stuff, because he's red pilling big time. He is talking about some of the issues we're talking about tonight, and really being truthful and out there big time. So we should, I don't know if I want to, but I think Fox is definitely turning a corner. But then the dailymail.com, which is a UK publication.
Yeah.
They are starting to definitely talk about, like, this was from today, this article that I'm showing my screen. They're talking about Hunter Biden again. and talking about the flirty messages from Hunter Biden's Chinese American Secretary 29, who worked for him when he partnered with the spy chief of China. So if you remember all of these pictures and text messages and correspondence that have been scattered all over the over the internet since before the election, there was a lot of details and proof, and whistleblowers actually were that came out and on.
Well, it was on Parler. All that came out on Parler, and then guess what? They shut it down, guys.
Right. Totally. But
that's what they had, an entire gallery of all the filth pictures,
and it was all connected to the
CCP.
Mr. B, that and Mr. B's crime network and the CCP. It was all documented. Mr. B's brother Jim was mentioned, part of these deals, and so what I'm showing now is this is a mainstream media site that's in the UK, and they're talking about this stuff. So what I'm learning is, if you really want to hear what's good, you have to go to a foreign country news site.
Well, that's what happened with the Spanish flu. Again, all of our allies and enemies all shut down the story about the flu, and it was Spain who had a free speech, and same thing.
And that's why they call it the Spanish flu, because Spain was the one who first talked about it in their press.
Well, in Epic Times, one of the reporters was attacked and badly beaten, and they believe it was by the CCP because she had a person running toward her on the 8th of May. And when he was running, his baton fell out of his coat. And so he immediately left. Well, they got somebody to wait for her when she was leaving her apartment. I think it was yesterday that this happened, and he beat her. And
okay, hang on. Who beat who? I missed that.
Okay, so a writer for the Epic Times in Hong Kong.
Yep. Okay.
She had been followed, and some guy dropped a baton running toward her, and then he left on the 8th. He took off, but some guy was waiting for her as she left her apartment, and he beat her on the legs, and she was screaming, and somebody came and he left. But it's a warning, because the Epic Times in Hong Kong is writing about the CCP, and so they believe that this is a CCP hitman that beat her up, and there's an international cry for, I guess, just coming out against this beating of the press. So these aren't good people, and the Epic Times is from China, but
it's Hong Kong.
But they're white hats because they're going against the CCP.
Right. And they had their publishing house and offices burned down to the ground.
Correct.
Last month or so. They've been attacked big time.
Yeah. And now this poor woman, I mean, the bruises, I mean, it's horrible.
Wow. She's lucky to be alive.
She's very lucky.
Because these people don't play. They don't play nice at all. They're evil. So what else is going on?
I just have a good news story that I'll finish up with, but I mean, this is pretty much, basically the message tonight is the list is growing longer. It's night and day between January 19th, 2021 and January 20th, 2021. We've got a Jimmy Carter 2.0, and any way that they can affect our lives keep us at home and keep us under control and make us suffer, they're going to do. And now they're hitting us with gas. Now they're going to hit us with more food. Everything's going to be affected by this gas. And I might be wrong. Maybe they'll get it under control. But I mean, there's a lot of people that are relying on those truckers. I love me a trucker.
Well, you're the road ranger.
I'm the I love truck stops, I should say. I love me a truck stop with the showers in the bathrooms. Road Ranger.
Well, yeah. Going back to the gas shortages,
Mhm.
Governor
Crazy.
Whitner in Michigan orders shutdown of pipeline
Makes sense.
today.
Why?
What the hell?
Why?
Let's see what she says. She set a deadline for May of 2021 for the pipeline to be shut down. What the hell?
Is this part of the Keystone thing or?
No, the easement. This is a easement allowing the company to operate dual pipelines in the Straits of Mackinac to transport petroleum and other products. So this is in the state of, there was a pipeline evidently in the state of Michigan, in the Straits of Mackinac. And the easement, therefore, is being revoked and terminated, according to release from the governor's office. Whitner also argued operating dual pipelines interferes with Michigan's solemn duty to protect the Great Lakes under the public trust domain. So she does this today, where everyone, there's a gas crisis in the country.
Sure.
So this really makes a lot of sense.
I think she's a dingbat.
Oh, that's an understatement.
She's a dirty dingbat.
All right, I have a couple more.
Okay.
So the V, or the poke, I should say, there are reports, and I will play this video. You don't need to listen to the sound, but you can see in this video, someone put this all together. Anyone who got the poke, if you put a magnet where the shot was done, it sticks to your arm. What's so funny?
I'm just like, who would even think of doing that? Hey, let's get a magnet.
Well, they're injecting you with freaking, computer chips.
Oh, wow.
It's magnetic. Now, just check out, there's several examples. This is a 5-minute video or 3-minute video. But yeah, so anyone out there who got poked, try it, because there's something in there that's making you the magnet sick.
Huh.
Yeah.
Dang.
Lovely.
Interesting. Wow. Where'd you find that one?
Undisclosed.tv.
Okay. Well, there she goes.
One of my favorite sites.
No
Okay.
one seems to be freaking out about that. I mean, I'd be a little upset.
I would be. It's like, hello.
They're all just kind of joking and laughing. Maybe it's a hoax. I don't know. We won't know.
I don't know. But who knows? We can get to that story. Maybe not tonight. Maybe later in another episode about that nurse that came up forward. She's a whistleblower, and she was a nurse at Elmhurst Hospital in New York City, and she was the epicenter of the C outbreak. And she, let's save that for another show.
Yeah,
because it's like OMG. If anyone's interested in going and seeing this, maybe let's put it in the link, Road Ranger. But this nurse, she goes into grand detail of what she saw when she worked at Elmhurst Hospital, which is a public hospital in New York City. And it's unbelievable of what she experienced and what she had to fight for her patients. And most of them died because of how they treated these patients. A lot of these patients, or all of these patients, should not have died. So she goes into grand detail on this. So we will put the link in the description. I cried at it at the very end. It's very emotional of how these people died, and they shouldn't have. And these people were poor people. They were of they were Asian and Black and Hispanic, and this was a public hospital, so they were Medicaid and Medicare, and they came alone because they couldn't be, no one else could come in the hospital with them. So they
Sure.
came alone, and a lot of these patients came in and they had difficulty breathing because they had anxiety attacks.
Correct.
Because of all the fear mongering the media was doing. And the media kept on saying that Elmhurst Hospital was the epicenter of the epicenter. And these people would come with difficulty breathing, and their oxygen levels were like 88, 89%, because they were having an anxiety attack. They would test COVID negative, and they would eventually land on a ventilator. They would put them on a ventilator when they didn't need a ventilator.
It's a money rub. So
$39,000 for every ventilator that was used.
Well, and the thing is, I mean, imagine how much other funding they might have gotten, because they were specifically, the intention was to give people COVID that didn't have COVID.
Yes.
So they put non-COVID people on COVID floors or COVID rooms, knowing that they basically were just pawns and left to die.
Yes.
And so that the hospital could get money. I mean, nothing made sense. Even the nurses were like scratching their heads.
Oh, yeah.
Well, so this was intentional. To me, this is intentional murder.
Oh, 100%.
This is intentional
100%.
murder. And if this is, somebody needs to investigate this. And this, to me, is under Cuomo and his dirty, bloody hands.
Yes.
Dirty, bloody hands, because he put nursing home, he put elderly in with COVID, he smushed them all together. This is part of the murder.
No, it's this nurse, and she was in the conference she spoke at the conference in Tulsa a couple weekends ago, evidently, and she's on camera. She is so brave for coming forward, and her name is out there, and she speaks very clearly on video for over an hour, and she has recordings of her correspondence, her conversations with other nurses during, and this was back a year ago when all this happened, and she had recorded these conversations with doctors, and they would literally, she would raise concerns, she would fight for her patients, and then they would move her off the floor, or they would tell her to go home, and as soon as she left, her patients coded, which means they would die. Yeah. Sure. No, it's horrible.
It's murder.
It is murder, and it's all because of money, and it's all because they wanted.
And no one's looking for these people, and that's part of the ease of this. Is, like you said, these are people who were older, they're poor. No one's. They have no advocates. So
no one could go in with them because of COVID. Right. So they didn't have any family members there, and some people were really, really young, 39 years old, and she specifically talks about this 39-year-old man. The only reason why he survived is because he was vented. He had a breathing tube down, and he pulled it out. That's the only thing that saved him. But anyway, I didn't mean to go into grand detail on that, but it's very disturbing. And she was there for 1 month, and she has. I hope that there's tons of lawsuits, and this is exposed, because it's definitely.
Well, Cuomo needs to be recalled, and these people need to be held on premeditated murder. Newsom needs to be recalled. These are all dirty, dirty, dirty people. And Newsom reportedly is like a nephew by marriage of Pelosi.
Yeah.
There's a family tree out there that shows about how all these people in California all are related by marriage, that have held different offices in California. And so it's definitely a family affair. And if you have time, go and look into it. She's related to a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
They're all, and guess what? They're all on the same agenda.
Oh, all of them. Trudeau,
deep state.
Trudeau is reportedly the Castro's son, illegitimate
really?
son. Hmm. Yeah, they're all, and they, if you go on Alex Jones, oh my goodness, he goes into grand detail about the cabal, they have breeding homes where they breed their DNA because they want a bloodline, a cabal bloodline. And they have houses all over the world that evidently breed each other because they want it all the same bloodline. Yeah, we're definitely in the freaking Twilight Zone.
Well, I guess, I'm numb. Nothing surprises me anymore. It's like, okay, cool. Danger Man.
Yeah.
Danger Man. Do, 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 do. And I'm pointing at Danger Man.
Oh my God.
Do, 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 Danger Man. Hey, Nana, how's it going back there?
Fine.
Give us a wave.
Yeah,
Make sure
everything's
you're still
fine.
breathing.
Everything is fine. No worries.
Give us a wave.
You know something that ever since you talked about it, I've been thinking about it in Arizona. They're so upset that this thing is going to cost $6 million, so therefore they can't do it to find out what's right. $6 million, and look how much Biden has given to trillions.
Oh yeah. The 6 million is chump change.
Totally.
It's nothing. So people.
It's chump change.
They shouldn't even be
I agree.
about it.
That's a good point. I mean,
yeah, it's just an excuse. It's just an excuse because they don't want to give them the routers.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
I would agree.
In other words, Biden should just take all his money back because this is $6 million that shouldn't be going on. Honest to God, they all suck.
Well, I think that they'll win, and I think that I think that we will prevail. I honestly think that. But between now and the end game, it's going to be rough.
But you know what? We're here. We're going to hold the freaking line. We're holding the line. We're still holding the line.
Yeah. So that's all I have to report tonight.
I know. Well, we knew it was going to be.
That's enough.
I know. Well, so I'm going to do one happy story, and then we're going to sign off.
Oh, goody. Happy.
There is a woman, and I did put the link in. See if I can find it here. I'll just go off memory if I can't. Okay, so there's a woman she's in England. She's got a son who has autism and he's nonverbal, and he was having a fit, and she was out in public, and she took him along a boardwalk along the water to try to get some of his energy, but he was yelling and screaming, people giving her dirty looks and titter-tattering at her, and she was trying to control it, and she couldn't. And a jogger comes along, and the boy, I guess, was laying on the ground having a temper tantrum, and the runner actually laid down on the ground and just started talking to her autistic son and got him to calm down, and they took pictures, and she just said that she had such a horrible day, and she said that she just felt like this man was just an angel to come along and help her get her son calm down, and she just said that he was just her hero. So I thought that was a great story.
There are a lot of good people. Most people are good.
Yeah, instead of giving her a hard time, how about actually helping and be empathetic? Try to put yourself in somebody else's shoes for 1 minute.
And being a human being, yeah.
And being a human being.
Well, that's
my
good story.
Good story. Yeah,
all
absolutely.
Right. Well, that's good. We ended on a good. We started with a good note, and then we're ended on a good.
Yes. We have to. So, well, let's go ahead and do our sign off. We want to thank everybody for joining us. We love you all.
Yeah,
and
thanks for joining, guys.
All right, so we're going to pray for the military.
We're going to pray for the children.
And we're going to pray for President Trump.
Woo!
And we're pointing. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much, and we will talk to you guys again. So have a wonderful day and stay safe.
Guys.
Love you.
Guys.